6 p.m. on Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, and that we are in council chambers, 200 South Street, Morristown, New Jersey. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided according to law by written notice to the Morristown Daily Record, the official newspaper of the town of Morristown, and to the Newark Star Ledger, both more than 48 hours ago. Notice was also posted on the bulletin board at Town Hall and filed with the office of the town clerk of the town of Morristown. I do further state that I shall enter into the minutes of this meeting a statement that such notice was furnished as particularly described by me in this public announcement. Okay. Councilman Armington.
Here.
Councilwoman Davis.
Here.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Here.
Councilman Elms.
Present.
Councilman Iannacone.
Here.
Councilman Silva.
Present.
Council President Foster.
Here.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence, please. Followed by the rise and stand of Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, there is one item on the consent agenda this evening. Unless a member of council would like to have a discussion, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I'll second it.
Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Foster?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask council members, I'd like to make a motion for council members to support an amendment to the agenda where we move up the other presentations and reports where we can do the swearing in of firefighter Ryan Bauer and the swearing in of firefighter Sean Gaffney. I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Councilman Armington?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb?
Yes.
Councilman Elms?
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone?
Yes.
Councilman Silva?
Yes.
Council President Foster?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call up our Public Safety Director, Michael Cochran. Corcoran, I'm sorry.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, members of the public. Michael Corcoran, Director of Public Safety for the town of Morristown. Gives me great pleasure this evening that we're going to be swearing in two new firefighters, in Ryan Bauer and Sean Gaffney. And before we get into that part of the program, we'd just like to introduce Fire Chief Flanagan for a few words.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. First of all, I'd like to thank the council for your continued support, and most of all, the mayor and the administrator for your total continued support. You don't know how much I appreciate that, and the Fire Bureau does also. This is a great night. We have two gentlemen that are being sworn in tonight that came from our volunteer ranks. I've known Ryan Bauer for almost a decade, and Sean Gaffney probably 3 or 4 years now. It's a great night. Thank you very much, everybody coming out tonight. And Mike, if you want to take it from here.
Sure. Thank you, Chief. I'd like to call up firefighter Sean Gaffney at this time. Sean Gaffney is currently a sergeant in the Army National Guard Field Artillery. Thank you for your service. He has been serving for 6 years and became a volunteer firefighter in November 2017 with the 1st Ward Hose Company. Sean is getting married to his fiancée, Victoria, this October. Sean is very grateful for the opportunity to be a career firefighter in Morristown and would like to thank his fiancée and his family for always believing in him. Firefighter Sean Gaffney.
There we go. So that way you're in. Come a little closer. There you go. All right, you're doing great. Sorry. Okay, repeat after me, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Sean Gaffney,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of firefighter,
of the office of firefighter,
Morristown Fire Bureau,
Morristown Fire Bureau,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Firefighter Gaffney. I'd like to call up now firefighter Ryan Bauer. Ryan Bauer joined the volunteer division of the Morristown Fire Department with the First Ward Hose Company 6 years ago. He quickly became passionate about firefighting and has always wanted a career where he could help others. Ryan recently got married to his wife, Emily. In 2015, Ryan began a job at the Department of Public Works in Morristown, and by the way, I hear he's one heck of a pool guy, too, and was able to further his knowledge about the town. He never hesitates to act when someone around him is in need. His goodwill, determination, and sense of community is what has led him here today. Very proud to introduce firefighter Ryan Bauer.
Repeat after me, please. I state your name.
I, Ryan Bauer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of firefighter,
of the office of firefighter,
Morristown Fire Bureau,
Morristown Fire Bureau,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Firefighter Bauer. I just want to say I want to commend all of our firefighters. If you've been following the news today, our fire department responded down to Hillsborough on a report of a plane crash. A plane landed in a tree. It was suspended 75 feet in the air, and our Fire Rescue Bureau went down there, and I'm happy to report the individual was rescued from the plane 75 feet, walked away without any injuries. So we're very proud of our fire department and our rescue unit that went down there today. And welcome to the firefighting family, Firefighter Gaffney and Firefighter Bauer. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing. If there are any members of the public wishing to be heard on this evening, please come before us, state your name, address, and try to keep your comments to less than 5 minutes. Well, I'll go on my right from front to back. Marge?
Okay. Members of the council, I respectfully request that prior to your vote on Phase 3 of the Spring Street redevelopment plan, that you make certain at least some aspects of this plan that the administration and developer feel will be approved tomorrow night receive your consideration before your vote. The success or failure of this proposal and the future of our communities and those you represent rest on your shoulders. The traffic study continues to leave more questions than answers, particularly in the manner that bicycles and pedestrians will be accommodated while making it easier for commuters and workers to get through the intersection. Last few weeks, I stopped by George and Martha's restaurant for brunch and sat in their front window on 2 consecutive Sundays, and I observed literally hundreds of people in an hour's time going in all directions. They were all ages, all nationalities, often in groups with children in tow, pushing wheelchairs, runners on bikes, carrying every type of package or gear you could imagine. A few dozen passed the intersection because they got tired of waiting on the island and jaywalked. There were many bikers of all ages and kinds and varieties of bikes. The impacts of many of our citizens from all This impacts citizens from all 4 wards, and I ask that you check it yourself. I was shocked because I was only there a half an hour, and I literally counted 155 one time and over 200 the next. This proposal is one of several drastic redevelopment plans approved in 2006 and 2007. The same planning board that year approved a detailed design standard for the entire town that was expected to be used as to guide any future changes proposed in Morristown. Do any of you even know what they are? Have you read them or seen them? I was surprised to realize that this is only a plan for a portion of the zone, which includes both sides of Spring Street and one of the most historic areas of Morristown, visited by tourists from around the world each year. Why hasn't there been a historic view of its impact on those sites? Thank you for listening to me tonight.
Can you please state your name and address for the record? You didn't do it earlier, I'm sorry.
Your name and address, Marge Brady, 1 Franklin Place,
That's it.
on your
Thank you.
behalf.
That's it. That's it.
That would be good.
The gentleman with your hand up behind.
Actually, this lady was actually before him.
Oh, you had your hand up?
She walked up.
Oh, sure.
Good evening, Council. My name's Joanne Casa DeVal. I live at 31 Dogwood Road in Morristown.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Casa, D as in David, E, V as in Victor, A-L-L. I've been spelling that for more than years than I'd like to say.
31 Baldwin?
Dogwood.
Baldwin? Dogwood?
Road.
Bless you.
Bless you. Okay. I noticed on the agenda, I'm asking the town to defer approving ordinance number 040-2019, which relates to the hydro raking at Foots Pond, until they satisfy themselves some issues that I have been raising for quite a while. I was the Foots Pond project coordinator since 1997-98. It was my idea to come up with the original plan, working with the Dodge Foundation, and I ran that under the administrations of Mr. Delaney and Donald Crescitello. And I've gone and made a presentation to the Environmental Commission in April. I have not seen the minutes for that. I don't understand how they reconciled it. The plans for hydro raking were part of the Foots Pond Park Restoration Project that I was overseeing. We were expressly prohibited from doing that by the Department of Environmental Protection. It was scheduled to be $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. I had matching funds lined up with the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation. the Shore de Palma were the engineering firm that did the testing, and there was an environmental corporate company that also did the testing from Princeton. The testing sediment determined they tested about 15 spots in the final, preliminary testing was fine. Before we did the raking, they tested about 15 parcels of sediment in the soil, determined that about 4, 5, or 6 of them were considered hazardous materials. All of this is documented in the files at the town. This hazardous materials prohibited us from raking. We were limited to doing hazardous material dredging, which meant you had to pull everything out, put it into waterproof, certain containers by certain companies had to do it, and it had to be transported to Newark or someplace else for disposal. This is what cut the project short. The problems related to this, and the two engineering firms have written this explicitly to the town. We went down to the DEP because I was looking for alternatives. Instead of raking the property, could we get the sediment off? And the answer was no. Can we take part of it away? And the answer was no. I asked, can we go around the whole pond and sample where the contaminated materials were and leave those areas alone? The answer was no. And what they said to us explicitly was, and this should be in the files, is that if you do this, we have told you, we have formally advised the town that this is not allowed. If you do this, you will be on your own, because we have made a public record that we have advised you. It's I think it's with the DEP as well. You're risking contaminating all the property downstream. Everybody who's against who runs against the property. You're risking contaminating the soil at Thomas Jefferson School. My husband went to Thomas Jefferson School. I had 4 children that went through Thomas Jefferson School. The school district was aware of this because they were all partners with us in this project. A bigger thing, they said, the liability we would have, especially like Windmill Pond. They said if Windmill Pond has to dredge and if they do their sediment testing and it determines that there are hazardous materials in it, they will be able to point back to when towns doing something at Foots Pond contrary to prior recommendations, in the town's liability for that would exist. Probably wouldn't, I don't know, I vaguely remember them saying, oh, and it wouldn't be covered by insurance because we told you not to do it. I had a very long conversation with the Environmental Commission in the April meeting. I have not seen the minutes. The only minutes I could see online ended in March. I was hoping that would come forth here. I've discussed it. Anytime I talk about the project, I say that it stopped because of the contaminated materials. This was something that I was very dedicated to doing, and maybe there's something that's changed. Maybe the sediment samples are different. Maybe the testing done is different. All I'm looking for is for the town to defer that procedure, maybe till next month, and see if there's somehow somebody has reconciled the decisions and the recommendations from the 2007, I don't even remember what year it was, 2006, 7, 8. I left working in 2008. Donald Crescitello let me stick around to wrap up the things that were needed to be done. Reconcile the sediment sample testing and the prohibition to what is now coming across as we can do this. Somebody told me, oh, it was hazardous before and now it's not hazardous. I don't follow that. And if you told me I could drink water in Newark, I wouldn't drink it. So I just really am concerned about the health of the children at the school and the people who live downstream and the liability. I'm not saying stop it. I'm just asking, can we look at the town's records? I've been asking this to do it. I have not seen the response from the Environmental Commission. We had a lengthy discussion about this, and I can't see any records beyond March. They even met after that. So that's all I'm asking, is that you defer this. And one other reminder,
Well,
this is
Ms. Joan, you're over your 5
Oh, I'm
minutes,
sorry.
so if you...
I'll be
if
very
there's-
quick, and I'm wrapping up because I have to
Okay.
go myself. This is pre-internet communication. Everything we did was hard copy, so that you will not find emails back and forth with this. There are printed copies that were sent. In 2007, 2008, all the grants, everything I wrote had to be written. Correspondence with the engineering firms were in writing. There's not emails to the town saying this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. All I'm
Thank
asking
you.
you is defer it, okay?
Thank you.
And I'm going home, thank you.
Have a good night.
I'm Ken Hoffman, 12 Hill Street, and I've come to support the proposed ordinance for parking on Hill Street. The parking we have right now is very bad at night. I have photographs I took tonight at 6:45, just to give you an idea what it looked like tonight on my cell phone. I printed these out as a reference.
Thanks, Ken.
That was tonight. And it's that way almost every night. When I come home from my night class at 8:30 at night, it's always extremely difficult to find a place to park. And so nighttime is the worst time, and for that reason, I strongly support the permit parking proposal, which would start at 6 p.m. During the day and run through 9 a.m. the next morning. I think that's wonderful. I wanted to thank you for introducing that. Let's see what else. That would be very similar to the parking restrictions that we now have over on Wetmore Avenue and Pine Street, which have similar problems. So again, thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll be here. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Am I done on this side to my right? Okay, Linda, you're up. Bill, your hand was late, I'm sorry.
Oh, let Bill go first.
Okay, Bill, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Bill Byrne, and I live at 100 Franklin Street in Morristown. And I'm here to bring up pedestrian safety. It's pretty bad. Okay, you got people going past red lights. I was in a buddy's car of mine, and we were at the traffic light stopped. And, you know, unfortunately, once they go through, they got to go through. They can't hesitate. But it's really getting bad. I mean, you got people like, you know, like you know how the streets like this, you got people like passing on the opposite side. You know, when they have to wait for a long time, you know, they pass on the opposite side. Then sometimes, one time we were coming up Elm Street, and this car was behind us, and we're just stopped at a red light. I mean, you can't go. And this car just passes on the side of the curb. I mean, something has to be done because, I mean, we're going to have an accident one day, you know, and it's going to be bad. So just want to bring that up, and a lot of people are jaywalking too. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
I'm Linda Carrington, 49 McCulloch Avenue, Morristown, and I'm here to channel my inner Bill Byrne. It's time for the town council to reclaim the 10 feet of pedestrian right-of-way on either side of Turtle Road. And the reason I bring this up is Turtle Road has no sidewalks. This evening, I spoke with Michelle Drolet, who is blind. She has a guide dog. She said Turtle Road has no sidewalks and is dangerous for pedestrians, whether they are sighted or not. She would have been here tonight, but she couldn't come with her dog. She asked that the public safety officer visit Turtle Road between 8:50 and 9 a.m. to assess the difficulty that pedestrians experience. So I hope you'll consider this. Thank you. I have her information here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Susan Landau, 128 James Street in Morristown. I mean, obviously. Yes, ma'am. So there are a lot of wonderful things happening at Foots Pond Wood. The new trail is finished.
28 James
and
Street.
I really invite everybody, sorry. I did, 128 James.
Oh, 128, I heard 28.
I'm sorry.
128 James Street.
James.
And I really encourage everybody on the council, the mayor, everybody, including all of Morristown, to go walk this new path. It is a whole new experience of the woods. We spent a lot of time a couple of days ago in the park, and there are families on bikes, families walking, pushing strollers. Everybody's discovering this new path. And there are 2 bridges. They're simple, they're solid, they're beautiful. It's just a delightful new path, and we're really grateful to have it. People are really using it. I have so much to say, but I'm just going to, one more thing. We have an exhibit at the library. There's a bookcase next to the elevator and another horizontal display case, and one of our Friends of Foots Pond Wood photographers has a display of photographs from the open water habitat at Foots Pond Wood. And her photographs are like fine art through a camera. And I just want to invite everybody to visit her small gallery. And if you can't make it, I have just a few share. It's stunning. And these were all taken at the park. I have to share because I only have 4 out of 4. It is, it's a spectacular little habitat, and it's hard to believe that all these amazing critters depend on the habitats that come together in that small park. It's really a town jewel, so visit the library. It'll be there through the end of September. She'll go up again in January in the library, and visit the park. You've got a great new path. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, your hand up. You're up.
So my name is John Williams. I live at 1 Washington Avenue, and thank you, Councilwoman.
You're welcome.
I won't touch it this time. Yeah, So my name is John, 1 Washington Avenue. I am a Morristown tenant, and I'm here to speak tonight about tenant issues. So first up, I want to thank Councilman Iannacone for spearheading the writing of this proposed ordinance for the Landlord-Tenant Dispute Committee. I know he's done a lot of work on that. So a question I have is, will the public have a chance to review and comment on that draft ordinance before it's voted into law? I'm not sure what the procedures are. And a comment I would make on what I've heard about this draft proposal is that the tenants oppose the choice of homeowners as decision makers in this board. Tenants, it's our position, tenants must be represented in any landlord dispute board. It makes no sense for non-tenants to represent tenants' interests in this critical process. About tenants in general in Morristown, I'd like to just mention that Morristown tenants have taken it on the chin in recent years. We took a big hit in 2010 when Morristown became a vacancy decontrol town. And in the last 3 years, I've seen a significant increase in non-compliance in the code of the town, further reducing tenant protections. So now it just seems to be the right time to announce the formation of the Morris Tenants Association. It's a New Jersey nonprofit corporation advocating and working for tenants' rights and protections for Morristown residents. The first program of the Morris Tenants Association is an information service to facilitate compliance with the code of the town. So for now, this information service is dubbed Municipal Compliance Service. That's just for lack of a better name. And this Municipal Compliance Service is a win-win-win for the town, for landlords, and for tenants. So why is it a win? Well, for Morristown, it's going to eliminate paper handling and storage of over 4,000 pages of paper per year. It's just, I think it will be a big relief, and the town would free up resources in the town to do more worthwhile things than to deal with just mounds and mounds of paper coming in. For landlords, it can reduce their compliance workflow by up to 100%. Both the town and landlords will get a analytics dashboard, give them great information on tenants in In Morristown, landlords will get a property view of their tenants, and then a tenant, it's a win. For tenants, it's a win because it'll induce more compliance with the ordinance, and that's what we're there for. We feel that because the ordinance, there's lack of compliance with the ordinance, that our rights are eroding. So I urge all Morristown tenants, I think many of you may be tenants here, I urge all Morristown tenants to sign up. There's no cost to it. The website won't be available for another day or two, but it's morristowntenants.com and morristowntenants.com. Thank you.
All right, if there are no other members of the public wishing to be heard on this evening, at this time, I'd like to close the public hearing. Any comments from council members on public hearing?
I'll start off with actually the last comments from Mr. Williams. Actually, I have been meeting with administration and that tenant subcommittee. And in fact, Jillian and I were working this past last week, and one of the things we decided we're going to do immediately is there is a statement that's supposed to go out once a year to every tenant in town. And that is now going to be accompanied with a statement of tenant rights. And it's going to be a summary that Al is going to be putting together. And it's going to be in a simple language. It's not going to be the full statement, which is already available online. It's going to be a simple version of that. And it will also give the contact numbers. Now, we're still going to explore this committee, but we think that that's a very good, very strong first step. The other thing I have to mention, though, and I'm complimenting administration here, the code enforcement, I've seen it so much improved in the last couple of years. It's been really very, very good. The improvements that you've seen in terms of the protection of tenants, for example, at Jacob Ford, AKA McAllister at Morristown, and the improvements that we've seen in Park Gardens literally has changed lives. Literally has changed lives, and the quality of the life and the quality of the environment that those people are living in has greatly improved. But I think your idea of a tenant association is an excellent idea. I think moving forward with that, but I have to say, and I don't want anybody to have the misconception, I have found this administration and this council nothing but respectful of tenants' rights and advocates of tenants' rights, and I have to applaud code enforcement and others. I know you're going to disagree, but we have the right to disagree. And if you ever have problems with them, just call us. That's what we're here for.
I just want to put on the record, if I may, Council President, that de-vacancy control came in 2006. It was on for referendum in the general election that took place in November 2005, and I believe, Councilor, was enacted in 2006. So it didn't happen in 2010. It was prior administration, when Tim Jackson lost his election to Rebecca Feldman. Donald Crisatello beat Scott Whiteneck, and under that election was a referendum by the citizens of the town of Morristown for vacancy decontrol. That was 2006, not 2010.
Any other comments or questions from, thank you, Mayor. Council members for public hearing?
Council President, just in reference to the comments that were raised about hydro raking, could the administration please
Absolutely.
comment? Because it kind of directly conflicts with what you had shared with us. So is it possible to get something in writing, say that this is not hazardous and it's not going to be hazardous to the children at TJ School, and, just so that we can cover our, I don't want to use an expletive here, but cover our bases.
And I want to, I guess, offer some clarity, because I think there was some miscommunication, and some of the information that Ms. Casadevall shared is not consistent with where we are. We've been working on this, as you know, for now at least a couple of years. The prior administration, the prior sort of planning that she's referring to was related to dredging. Dredging is a very different project than what we're contemplating with the hydro raking, and it's a very different level of scrutiny and permitting from DEP. The easiest way I can explain it in sort of plain English is, at your house, raking versus using a shovel. Hydro raking is literally raking the vegetative waste from the bottom of the pond. It does not disturb the sediment, does not disturb the bottom of the pond. What was previously considered was dredging, which is more like taking a shovel and digging a hole and lowering the bottom of the pond. That disturbs the sediment and requires DEP testing and all these other kind of things. What we are contemplating and what is before you is the capital improvement bond, which funds hydro raking and does not disturb the sediment at the bottom of the pond, and therefore there's no environmental impact, there's no disturbance of settlement, there's no disturbing of any, there's no hazardous material or anything that's related to the project that we're contemplating before you. So that's inaccurate, and the other project we're contemplating does not have any negative environmental impact to the students or the environment or the fish or the birds or kind of anything. It simply removes the vegetative waste from the bottom of the pond.
And contrastly, it's actually got positive environmental impacts, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you very much
It
for
deepens the
clarifying.
water board. It's great for that ecology
Thank you.
in that area.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Absolutely.
Oh, and one more thing, Council President, the comments that were brought up by Ms. Carrington on Turtle Road, can I make the request to have the Director of Public Safety do a site visit of that location?
Well, we'll make that request.
Yeah. Make the request.
He's already heard it. I guarantee you, Mr. Cochran will be out there
All
tomorrow morning with his clipboard video.
I
Yeah,
see
he
a
already gave me the
thumbs up.
thumbs up in the back, so we're good.
Thank you.
Could we get a report back
He will,
at the next
sure.
council meeting? Thank you.
Just on one follow-up, unless your administration is going to talk about the Footspond Trail. I was interested, I know that the town obtained a grant some years back for about $25,000. I'm interested in the total cost of the project. And also at the time of the grant, there was some concerns about from the school about the placement of the trail directly adjacent to the playground, and if any coordination had been done with the school district or the school, Thomas Jefferson School, during construction or concurrent. So.
Yes, there was.
Okay.
All right, are there any other comments from council members from public hearing?
Yes, I want to thank Linda Carrington for bringing up the issue at Turtle Drive because it is a legitimate issue. Thank you.
All right, but administration, do you have any
Just
other
on
comments,
Billy
or-
Burns' comments, who is our eyes and ears out in the public. We appreciate everything he does, because I run into him walking all over the place. I have to commend the Morristown Police Department. I have seen a drastic amount of people that get pulled over for violating our ordinances. I see it all the time. I see our police officers out there stopping cars that clearly go through intersections, don't stop for pedestrians, get caught in between lights. I'm not going to put certain officers on the spot, but I see them out there. Commended one of them the other day. So they're out there, Billy. Like I shared a month ago, I was in the middle of a crosswalk and somebody just went by and I kind of yelled and they basically said some expletives and basically said they would get out and beat my you-know-what. And that was somebody who was I was in the middle of a crosswalk. So you have to be careful. Be vigilant. Don't think that cars are not preoccupied with the cell phone. People just have daily pressures in life. And, we all experience it. We all have experienced driving and our mind goes somewhere else and all of a sudden, boom, either a car stops short in front of us and we're hitting our brakes really hard. Those things happen. So as a pedestrian, you just have to look both ways. If a car is a certain distance away, don't take a chance. Just wait 10 seconds. Believe me, it's worth it. I've experienced it myself. So just be careful. And thank you, Billy, for constantly bringing it to the attention. And I know that the chief of police is in the back somewhere, and our public safety director, and they are enforcing the quality of life ordinances that we expect here in Morristown, and we thank them for it.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, at this time, moving on to Mayor's proclamations and presentations.
Do the proclamation first?
Yes.
Come on, Councilman. Spanish, too.
We can translate.
Can you translate it?
I guess I must because a lot
Yeah.
of people here.
So, everybody knows Councilman Silva? Wow. I think they'll give the same applause for Beach Boar. So this is a proclamation on National Hispanic Heritage Month. We're going to take an extra couple minutes to do this. I will do it, or you want to do it in Spanish
You go ahead in
first?
English and then I'll translate to Spanish.
You want to do month to month?
Sure.
Okay. Whereas September 15th, my birthday.
En
It doesn't say that on there.
Yeah. Septiembre 15, que es el cumpleaños del alcalde,
Through October 15th
hasta octubre 15,
is recognized as National Hispanic Heritage Month.
es reconocido como el Mes Nacional de la Hispanidad.
It is marked by celebrations highlighting the achievements
Está marcado con celebraciones que resaltan los logros
of Hispanic and Latino Americans and their contributions made to our communities.
de los hispanos y los latinoamericanos y sus contribuciones hechas a nuestras comunidades.
And whereas Hispanics have had a profound and positive influence
Y como los hispanos han tenido una influencia positiva y profunda
on our country
en nuestro país
through their strong commitment to family, faith, hard work, and service.
con su compromiso profundo a la familia, la fe, el trabajo y el servicio,
They have enhanced and shaped our character with century-old traditions that reflect the multi-ethnic and multicultural customs of their community.
ellos han ampliado y han moldeado el carácter con tradiciones que son de más de un siglo, que reflejan la multietnicidad y la multiculturalidad de las costumbres de nuestra comunidad.
Whereas, I'm glad you didn't ask me to read it. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month was first observed in 1968 under President Lyndon Johnson and was expanded by President Ronald Reagan in 1988.
El mes de la herencia hispana fue observado en 1968 bajo la presidencia de Lyndon Johnson y luego fue expandido bajo la presidencia de Ronald Reagan en 1988.
So it covered a 30-day period.
Y cubre 30 días, un periodo de 30 días.
September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of the independence for Latin American countries Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Day on September 16th. And on September 18th, respectively, also Columbus Day, or Dia de la Raza,
Día de la
which is October 12th, falls within this 30-day period. There you go.
Cubre un periodo de 30 días de septiembre 15, y lo cual es significativo porque es el aniversario de la independencia de algunos países latinoamericanos como Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras y Nicaragua. En adición a esto, México y Chile celebran su independencia el 16 de septiembre y el 18 de septiembre respectivamente. También el Día de Colón o el Día de la Raza, que es octubre 12, cae dentro de estos 30 días.
Whereas the term Hispanic or Latino refers to Puerto Rican, South or Central America, or other Spanish culture or origin, regardless of race.
Y el término hispano o latino se refiere a puertorriqueños o a personas de Centro o Suramérica y de otra cultura hispana, de origen de cultura hispana, no importando cuál sea su raza.
On the 2010 census form, people of Spanish, Hispanic, or Latino origin could identify themselves as Mexican, Mexican-American, Chicano, Puerto Rican, Cuban, or other Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin.
En el censo del 2010, censo del 2010, la gente de España o hispana o latina, de origen latino, podían ser identificados como mexicanos, mexicoamericanos, chicanos, puertorriqueños, cubanos o otro hispano, latino o de origen español.
Whereas National Heritage Month is a time to honor the contributions Hispanics have made throughout our history and acknowledge their positive impact on our community.
El mes nacional de la herencia hispana es un tiempo para honrar las contribuciones que los hispanos han hecho a través de nuestra historia y reconocer el impacto positivo en nuestra comunidad.
Now, therefore, I, Timothy P. Doherty, now you say, Pastor.
Oh. Ahora, por lo tanto, yo, David Silva,
As mayor of the town of Morristown, as
como
council,
concejal de la ciudad de Morristown,
do hereby proclaim
proclamo
September 15th through Tuesday, October 15th,
septiembre 15 hasta octubre 15,
National Hispanic Heritage Month
el mes nacional de la hispanidad
in the town of Morristown,
en el town de Morristown,
and I encourage Morristown residents,
y animo a todos los residentes de Morristown,
community organizations, and local officials
a las organizaciones de la comunidad y a los oficiales locales
to observe this month with the appropriate ceremonies, activities, and programming.
a observar este mes con las ceremonias y actividades apropiadas y los programas.
Congratulations for National Hispanic Heritage Month.
Felicitaciones.
Want to say a few words?
Now.
First, I want to thank Mayor Doty for this initiative. Quiero darle las gracias al alcalde por esta iniciativa. I think that in such a time as this for Latinos in United States, this is beautiful. Yo creo que en un tiempo como el que vimos los latinos aquí en Estados Unidos, esto es algo maravilloso. And I want to recognize that here we have also representatives from organizations that are Latino organizations like Wind of the Spirit. Tenemos aquí a Vientos del Espíritu. Brian Lozano. No sé si habrá alguien de Hispanic Affairs. I invited Hispanic Affairs too. It's another organization that helps the Latinos in Morris County. También ellos son parte de esto. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council and Administration, for recognizing us. We Latinos are about 60 million in the United States. Our contributions are great, from history to economy to arts, and even to what is called low skills jobs, because without those workers, we wouldn't have clean hotels, good food in the restaurants, gardens that look beautiful, and so on. We have people representing us in all disciplines of life, and from scientists. We have CEOs, like United CEOs from Mexico, and many other people that do great things. But the heroes are here. Los héroes están aquí. Ustedes. The people that live in our communities and help our communities to be better. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all.
So we expect, now every time there's an issue we have to fight for, that all of you will come out and show the same support, right?
Yes.
And I tell you what, and all the council members, I'm sure, will agree in the administration, it's a warm feeling that we all get when we see this type of participation from our residents. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting this National Heritage Month for the Hispanics. Thank you. Now, you all have to sit here for another 2 hours. In case Brian comes up with something from the Wind of Spirit, we all have to get behind. Only kidding, Brian. Should I finish?
Please.
Okay. Thursday, September 12th, Trans Options recognized, had a recognition breakfast recognizing Morristown Medical Center as Employer of the Year and Sergeant Brian Labar as a safety champion for our Morristown Police Department. Congratulations to Sergeant Labar. The 14th of September, there was a mental health and wellness expo via Ricky's Compass at Ledgerwood Park. September 15th, Temple B'nai Or hosted the Rabbi Palooza to welcome the new Rabbi, Michael Satz. On Friday, yeah, we can wait 2 seconds, everybody out. Okay, if anybody wants to leave, we'll just wait 2 minutes and they can head out. Okay, the councilman's taking names.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Michael Sachs.
It's actually from
You
the,
gotta
it's nice.
You gotta have some.
Rabbi? Oh, really?
Okay. On Friday, the 20th of September, the grand opening ribbon cutting of the Residence Center at Manahan Village took place. That was an amazing thing. Before I just talk briefly about that, I want to also give a round of applause and congratulations to our Councilman Hillary Davis, who is now married in Florida, and she was in Florida. She's back. So we want to recognize her because she couldn't make it back to that, and I know how that was important to her. And it was a good event. It has been a long time coming for that to open up. And Keith Kennard and the Housing Authority did a good job, and it would not have happened if it wasn't for you guys, the council's contribution from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to free up money for their rehab to go to get the things fixed they needed to get that open for the residents, the kids in Manhattan. And so you're to be commended, the council, for having the forward thinking to make that happen. So congratulations. Shade Tree Commission did a TD grant celebration at Pocahontas Park on September 21st. There was a 17th annual Community Family Day was held. Was very well attended. I was not able to attend it. I was at the gala along with our Councilwoman Toshiba Foster for the Church of God in Christ 94th anniversary celebration at the Hanover Manor, which was well attended. And then Sunday, we also attended the services at Church of God in Christ to celebrate their 94th anniversary and the event finale that morning. Cops and Rodders held an...
You were one of the honorees.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to say that for yourself.
Well, I'll say it for you.
You know, oh, by the way, I got honored, you know.
By the way,
it just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
I understand, but I know you're very humble, but our mayor was one of the community service honorees at the 94th Church of God in Christ anniversary luncheon, and so they're always thrilled and much appreciative of all the work that you do in the community. So it was nice to see that, as well as honoring some of their members, they honored you, you know, as our mayor of the great town and city that we call Morristown. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, whoever clapped, that single clap, thank you.
It's appropriate.
That's like one hand clapping. You know, that song, one hand clapping. You know, well, I'm on a roll tonight, Beach. And Al's shaking his head. I'm on a roll.
You got applause. You did it.
I know. Cops and Rodders held their event Sunday, which was excellent. If you like hot rods and cars, it was great to have it on a Sunday afternoon. I thought it was great. A lot of people walking around. It was really good. On Thursday, September 26th, that's Thursday. Table of Hope beefsteak dinner at the Birchwood Manor. Tickets are required. You can contact Spring Street CDC at 973-998-9330 for tickets. That's Spring Street CDC, 973-998-9330. That's Table of Hope beefsteak dinner. And what the Table of Hope is Pastor Sidney Williams, Bethel Church has dinner every night of the week, I think.
Yes. I don't think the weekends, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, Monday through Friday for people in need. So it's a great thing to support.
What's the date of that, Mayor?
That's Thursday night, 6 p.m. Tickets required at the Birchwood Manor. Saturday, September 28th, which is upcoming, Freedom House, Morris County Recovery Walk, which I walk every year since its inception, will be held starting at 9 a.m. That's the 28th, and I'm not sure where you would get the information for that. Is it on our website? I'll make sure it gets up tomorrow on the website so you can see that. I also want to, well, when we get to the end, we'll talk about it. September 29th, obviously the farmer's market. And Mike?
Yep. Sunday the 29th is the 25th Annual Festival on the Green, Morristown Festival on the Green, Fall Festival. Jennifer couldn't be here tonight, but she definitely wanted us to talk about it. So this Sunday from 12 to 5, there's going to be 4 stages with live entertainment, 150 exhibitors and vendors, and a beer tent for the second year in a row.
Yeah. Well, not good for me, but I didn't know anything with the beer tent. But it is a busy day for Morristown, and you should come out and enjoy it. On Monday, September 30th, if you're around, noon, there's a ribbon cutting for NMOS co-working space on 1 High Street Court. They're doing a fabulous job on co-spacing. Their business has taken off in Morristown. I believe they've expanded already. So if you can get a chance to get over there Monday to cut the ribbon. Now, the last thing is Wednesday, October 2nd, and I want to make sure the churches are aware of this, and I believe the school is. It's on our Facebook. So Town of Morristown on our Facebook. I'll see if we can get it on the web tomorrow on our website. It's on the Facebook. It's October 2nd, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. J.C. Reese, it's the oldest eyewear store in town. See Kids Soar event, 25 South Street, celebrates a kickoff of the J.C. Rice and Esler program partnership, which provides children with no-cost vision care, including screening and glasses. It's an amazing give of support for our community, what J.C. Reese is doing here. Again, it provides children with no-cost vision care. It means they're going to have an eye doctor there, including screenings and glasses, free. And you have to qualify for it, and so we'll get the information. It's on our Facebook. We're going to get it on our website. If you have any questions, call 973-292-6629. Ask for Kristen Wedderburn. She will give you the information. This is vitally important if your children need glasses and you can't afford it. This is exactly what this town does. It gives back, and it's a wonderful thing that J.C. Reese is doing, and we totally support him. October 3rd, there's a lot. Homeless Solution has a ribbon cutting at 88 Martin Luther King at 10 a.m. I don't think I can make that, so if people are available, that'd be great if they can make it. Saturday, October 5th, is the Shred event at Town Hall, which is always popular. And Sunday, October 6th, the Farmers Market. And there is a remembrance on October 6th from 2 to 4 for Senator Anthony Bucco at the County College of Morris Student Center Auditorium, Center Grove Road, Randolph. And that was our state senator from the 25th District who passed away from a heart attack. And they're having they had a private service, family, very close friends, and now they're having a public service for anybody from the public that wants to go pay their respects to the family. That'll be 2 to 4 on the 6th, October 6th, at the County College of Morris Student Center Auditorium, Center Grove Road, Randolph. On that note, is there something else? Oh, parking permits. Visitors passes. You know, you guys did the change and it's all working good. 15th? October 15th, send your email blasts out. We'll get it on the website and Facebook. They're going to start enforcing after the 15th.
Mayor, the Medical Center Chamber Palm that you asked me to attend for you?
Yes. Could you speak about it?
Yeah, I went on behalf of the mayor's office to attend a open house for the Medical Center Hospital over at South Street. It's a full-service wellness kind of center. I think it's called Palm. Okay.
Yeah.
And I have a brochure. I forgot it, sorry. But they did invite the council for a whole free day, and it would be like a team building event. And it sounded like it would be really fun. They have a crypto machine where you go in and you get frozen for like 3 minutes or something. And I'm probably not saying this right, but you get cryo, and you get it's only like 2 minutes, but they told me it's not going to make you die or anything. But you do that, and then you go into a sauna, and then you go into a meditation room and a Himalayan salt room that you can breathe in the salts. And they invited the whole council to do as part of wellness and the administrator and everybody. So I wasn't sure how that would work from a quorum standpoint, from everything like that, but it sounded like it would be a lot of fun. Well, I don't think I would do that cryo thing, but
Yeah, a lot of
the offer is stands. I will give the info to the clerk, and we could set up.
Just as long as
so we
there's
don't
not four of
violate
us.
any quorums.
For you athletes, and Mike probably maybe because you do a lot of running and different things, that's supposed to be the best thing right now for sports is this cryotherapy. How
It reduces inflammation,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be great.
Does it I'm not saying you're not an athlete.
What does it do there?
So thank you. They also have a trainer and a whole personal training area, and
Do they have a website?
I'll give everything to the clerk.
Okay, I have one more thing, and that's it for me. I mentioned a couple of council meetings ago to start getting on your radar, on your public's radar, on your constituents' radar, and in the news that we are doing a lot of research on the plastic bag ordinance. Several towns have done it with some issues. We want to make sure when we do it, it's thorough and it's a community buy-in, a business buy-in, and that everybody's on the same page. So just know that that's coming. Our environmental commission is researching it really deeply. We are talking to other communities. So that is going to be coming here. And we hope the council will work together as a body. I'm not just going to throw it out there. We'll talk to the business community, the major, because it affects every business that has anything to go from drugstores to supermarkets to all our retail stores. So but I think it's time that we've been looking at this for a year, and we as the urban center and the county seat want to do it the right way, where it's successful, and show the way for other communities to follow. So just know that that's coming.
I think it's a great idea.
That's it. Thank you, Council President.
Oh, no problem, Mayor. Okay, moving on to council liaison reports.
So the Environmental Commission met a couple weeks ago, and I guess just a couple comments from the last meeting. The next meeting, which is the first Tuesday in October, so that's going to be on next week. We have a member from the Parsippany Council Chair, the Environmental Commission Chair and Vice Chair that promulgated the ordinance in Parsippany. So they are going to be attending the meeting to discuss the plastic bag ordinance. So I got the clerk downloaded the ordinance, and she can distribute it to members of the council. And probably most importantly, secondly, we can visit the Environmental Commission booth at the street fair this Sunday. They're going to have a booth 12 to 5, So come and visit us. I will be there at some point during the day, and you could get information on the Environmental Commission, on volunteering, on participating, and if you would like to become a member, be appointed a commissioner, you can get information on that as well.
Allison, is it limited to plastic bags, or does it include styrofoam?
So it's a plastic bag ban.
Because a lot of towns have actually gone beyond that. They've gone to styrofoam
Yeah,
plastics.
yeah. It's just going to be really interesting because you're going to have the two people there that introduced it. It took apparently 1 or 2 years to get it. It's, as you can imagine, Parsippany is a huge town. So it would be a great meeting. It'd be great to have participation from anybody that wants to go. I guess the meeting is noticed, but if we have more than 4 members, we would have to go through the clerk if we want to attend, but I encourage you all to be there Tuesday. There was one other thing, yes, but it's technically under calendar of events, but since I have the floor, the Warwack 20th anniversary is next Wednesday. It's going to be at the Frelinghuysen Arboretum from 6 to 8 p.m. It's the 20th anniversary of the Whippany River Watershed Action Committee. And the Whippany River Watershed Action Committee also has an acronym. We call it Warwack. They help protect and preserve the Whippany River and its tributaries. So they have a really neat event planned. I think the donation is $20. They do great stuff, and it's going to be at the Frelinghuysen Arboretum with 2 really neat speakers, and it's a nice program. So you could check it out online at wrwac.org, and I'll forward you that information.
All set?
Thank you.
The Morristown Partnership met on Wednesday, September 11th. As the mayor already mentioned, this weekend is the Fall Festival. It's Sunday, the 29th, from 12 to 5. It's the 25th annual. And the other thing I think that's important to mention is that the farmers market continues. I think a lot of people kind of think that summer's over and so farmers market is over, but it's not. That goes on every Sunday until November 24th. At the last partnership meeting, we had a presentation from the Water Authority, Southeast Morris MUA. One thing that was interesting is they talked to us about a project that they have planned for the water main replacement on South Street, which sounds like a pretty serious undertaking. That will, I think, be happening like in the next 8 to 10 months or something like that, I think is what
They
they
have not
talked about.
they have not finalized any plans with this yet.
Okay. So one thing that, when they were detailing the project, one thing that came out from their presentation was that they plan to bring all of the water meters to the exterior of the building, which means that every building would have a meter pit in the sidewalk in front of the building. And a lot of board members of the partnership raised concerns about the streetscape and the aesthetics of what that would do to the street. So we kind of asked them to take a longer, harder look at that plan and come up with some other alternatives. That's it.
Thank you.
Park Authority did meet last week. It's just continued business as usual. They did open up the parking garages for the Festival of Books, which is on the 11th and 12th of October. So, there'll be parking available for that festival also.
Planning Board meets this Thursday.
Okay. Moving on to the calendars of events. Are there any additional items council members want to make the public aware of? Nope. If not, moving on to regular business.
Okay. The 26th is your meeting, right? Excuse me. We have 2 ordinances for introduction this evening. Ordinance number O-43-2019, and ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 30 Land Use Regulations and Chapter 4 Licensing and Business Regulations. I have to sneeze. Excuse me, if I could have a motion to introduce.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number O-43-2019.
I'll second it.
Comments or questions for council members? Seeing none, call the question.
On the
please.
introduction of 43-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Ordinance O dash.
Get past the veto stuff yet. so Don't clap yet.
Ordinance O-43-2019 has been properly introduced by title and is tentatively scheduled for public hearing and adoption on October 8th after a planning board consistency review to be held on September 26th. Ordinance number O-44-2019, an ordinance amending and supplementing the code of the town of Morristown, Chapter 7, Traffic.
I'll move it.
Second.
Comments, questions?
Any comments or questions from council members?
Okay, on the introduction of 44-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance O-44-2019 has been introduced properly by title and will be considered further after public hearing on October 8th. We have 5 ordinances for public hearing and adoption this evening. Ordinance number O-36-2019, an ordinance providing for certain capital improvements at the Morristown Municipal Airport by the town of Morristown and the county of Morris, state of New Jersey, and appropriating $8,293,709 therefore to finance part of the cost thereof.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-36-2019.
I'll second it.
At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing on this ordinance. If there are any members of the public wishing to be heard, please come before us, state your name, address for the record, and keep your comments to under 5 minutes. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Comments or questions from council members? Seeing none, call the question, please.
On the adoption of ordinance 36-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Ordinance 36-2019 is adopted. Ordinance number O-37-2019, an ordinance amending and supplementing the code of the town of Morristown, Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 40.2, handicap parking on streets for private residences, to add a dedicated handicap parking space for a resident of 10-04 Clyde Potts Drive.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-37-2019.
I'll second it.
At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing portion on this ordinance. Any members of the public wishing to be heard? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any questions or comments from council members? Seeing none, call the question, please.
On the adoption of O-37-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
O-37-2019 is adopted. Ordinance number O-38-2019, an ordinance amending and supplementing ordinance authorizing the imposition of a municipal hotel and motel occupancy tax as authorized by NJSA 40:48E-1 at SEC.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-38-2019.
I'll second it.
At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing on this ordinance. Any members of the public wishing to be heard? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any questions or comments from council members? Seeing none, call the question, please.
On the adoption of ordinance 38-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Ordinance O-38-2019 is adopted. Ordinance number O-39-2019, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 13, Housing and Property Maintenance.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-39-2019.
I'll second it.
This time, I'd like to open up the public hearing on this ordinance. Any members of the public wishing to be heard?
Linda Carrington, 49 McCullough Avenue. Thank you for introducing and hopefully adopting this ordinance. So one of the principal species is bamboo, and next to the town hall was the callaloo, which had invasive bamboo, and the developer removed it, but guess what? It's still on town hall property. So you'll want to look at that. And
So invasive.
again, in looking at the recycling center, it's overrun with Japanese knotweed. So I hope you'll be attentive to this. Thank you for that. And then on New Jersey Nightly News, Mary Alice Williams was talking about the legislator adopting some legislation regarding invasive species. So you're right on. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. There are no other members of the public wishing to be heard on this ordinance. I close the public. Oh. But the public hearing is closed, so if you have comments for council members, you can address us by putting your name and
Pardon me?
address on the record and keeping your comments less than 5 minutes.
Bamboo Bob Foley.
Excuse me?
My name is Bamboo Bob Foley,
Address, Bob.
just for the record.
Your address?
54 Georgian Road, Morristown. And I have a lot of bamboo in my yard. Calm down, Bob. The ordinance, what you don't take into consideration, there's other methods of controlling bamboo that most people don't even know about. The problem, I'm down in the trenches where a code enforcer will go up to somebody's house, write them a letter, and then pretty much sanction them to want to get the bamboo out. I've had women cry on my shoulder because their husband died. They can't afford to take it out. You guys have no consideration of the other side. Bamboo is not evil. It's a plant. It doesn't flower and spread like knotweed, which you're never going to be able to control. But you got to have the consideration that these people just don't have the money. Their husband died, the woman's alone, she doesn't have enough money. How does she afford to take it out? That's where I come in. I got to try to help her. So I have to deal with, but that's only some of the towns that I've had to deal with ordinances that are all the way across the board that make no sense. This one's not too bad, but I talked to Bob Iannacone about tweaking it and making it right. Too many people get hurt by these ordinances. It's not fair. It's not a bad plant. I have scientists checking on it for antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal properties to make scrubs out of for hospitals. Charcoal. In Haiti, they cut all the bamboo down because Baby Doc was afraid he was going to get assassinated. Well, they have nothing to make charcoal out of to cook with. They're going to bamboo. Bamboo is an incredible plant. It makes marijuana look stupid. But you guys got, when you hear, I'm glad you're taking care of the knotweed and the bamboo, and this is really bad. It's not an evil plant. I planted a callaloo a long time ago. Offered to take it out for this guy. He didn't want to do it. The roots grew over next door. I ran into Bob the other day. He said, look, the town cost a lot of money to take the bamboo out. They didn't do anything. They cut it down. I'll take it out for nothing. I feed panda bears around the country and up into Canada every Monday. I'll take the bamboo out for nothing. There's a lot of good aspects to bamboo, but people don't realize it. And this ordinance is going to hurt a lot of people because it's not written properly. So if you want to get together, anybody on the council, and write it so nobody gets hurt and it makes sense, then we could do that.
Council President, can I?
Well, is that all your comments for tonight?
I could go on and on, but yeah, that's it. I got it.
Are there any other members of the public wishing to be heard on this ordinance this evening? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Comments or questions from council members?
Well, I just want to give some, as a matter of background, I know when this first came up, it was brought up because the bamboo was concentrated at the corner of Overlook and Ogden in my ward, and it was causing a sight distance issue because it was so thick that when you came and approached Overlook from Ogden, you had to literally kind of inch out or vice versa. It was causing a sight distance and a security issue. I know when Callaloo it was growing there, it was causing safety concerns because it was so thick that if you walked by it at night, there were safety concerns. So I don't know if it's the will of the council where we want to, consider, deferring it and then reviewing it in that light. I mean, I thought there was a grandfather clause in there of some sort, but I I don't know. I mean, certainly the idea isn't to make people financially set back from this. Perhaps there's some way we can work with volunteers in the Environmental Commission to try to help with that. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but,
It's closed.
You know, I think Mr. Foley's concerns really circle around two issues. One is the expense to individuals who already have bamboo and the expense associated with removing the bamboo. The second point, well, actually three. The second point is, will it be no consideration to the hardships on the individuals if they have to remove bamboo? Bamboo is an invasive plant. The root system is extremely intricate. It's dense. Bob was describing to me what it takes to remove bamboo. I do think, however, though, that the Shade Tree Commission and the initiative of basically saying that bamboo is not a plant that should be planted without certain controls. The other thing that's explained to me is that if you plant bamboo correctly, i.e. put trenches around it, whatever, quite an intricate planting mechanism, that it might be safe to plant. That all being said, what I would suggest we do is, you know me, I don't like not moving things forward and keeping things moving, okay? So I think we should continue on, and I think we should vote for this. However, I think Bob brings a tremendous amount of knowledge on bamboo. This is a business that he's in. He does this for a lot of people. He's actually been helping out a lot of people with the removal of bamboo. And I think at the very least, what we should do is, you know, you've got a lot of invasive species out there. You'd be surprised. I probably have a few on my lot, for all I know, you know, for some of the things that are on that list. I think what we do is we have to be, I think, again, I have a lot of faith in the enforcement in this town. I think they enforce with a heart. I don't think they're going to be enforcing the regulation in a manner that's going to put a hardship on any individuals. And if they do, people can call us and we'll intervene. And I think, secondly, I think we can go back to the Shade Tree Commission and review how it might be planted safely, but let the Shade Tree Commission do reconsideration. Reconsiderations are done all the time. And I think the other point, which Bob truly has a heart for, which is, let's work with Bob to see what we can do to help some of the citizens in town who may need now to get rid of these invasive plants on their property. And how can we help them out? Because some people may not have the money for it. I got several calls, actually, and one of the calls was somebody's actually using it as a way of preventing the deterioration of a steep slope, because the root system actually helps the steep slope. And but it's an extensive bamboo, and it's going to probably cost thousands of dollars to remove. So we've got to figure this out. But I think we should move forward with this ordinance and give some consideration to the expense, give some consideration to the enforcement, and maybe go back and have some conversations with the Shade Tree Commission as to how it can safely be planted.
Any other comments from council members?
Council President, may I interject? Do I have permission to interject?
Sure.
I think in the ordinance, we were just reading the ordinance, it actually doesn't state you have to remove it. So if you have bamboo, you do not have to remove it. And if you're going to...
You have to box it in, though.
If you're going to plant it, you wanted to talk about the ordinance? Just so everybody's clear on what the ordinance actually says.
Yeah, there's an exception. It's 13-126.4, and it says the provisions of this ordinance shall not apply to any landowner or possessor of said land who, prior to the effective date of this ordinance, had any invasive plant species on any property within the town of Morristown limits. Notwithstanding the foregoing, all existing plants shall be contained by appropriate physical barriers to prevent the growth or spread of existing invasive species beyond the borders of the landowner's property. So, if I may speak, I'm not a lawyer, he is, but this doesn't mean that somebody has to remove their property. They just have to take steps to prevent it from encroaching on a neighbor's property.
Yes.
That's
Some of the tracks, it's pretty, I saw one actually that I'm referring to, it's huge. So, but, well, it can be worked out.
Yeah, I just didn't want people to get the impression if you had some bamboo, all of a sudden you have to remove it, because you don't.
Is there an exception clause in the case of providing stability for earth?
slopes.
Steep slope?
It just, this ordinance actually doesn't say you cannot plant an invasive plant. It says that if you're going to plant it, it has to be contained
The intent of the ordinance is to not have
Prevent the
an invasive
spread.
species become a nuisance to an adjacent neighbor who was not hoping to have an invasive species on
That's
their
correct.
property.
Correct.
That's
correct.
pretty much it.
That's correct.
That's what the exception provides for that. You know, it can spread onto your property all you want, but.
Correct.
And we have instances of that in town where it's actually ruined neighbors' relationships, you know, and so.
Right.
Thank you for clarifying.
All right, if there are no more other comments from council members, call the question, please.
On the adoption of ordinance 39-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Ordinance O-39-2019 is adopted. Ordinance number O-40-2019, bond ordinance providing for hydro raking at Foots Pond in and by the town of Morristown in the county of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating $300,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $285,000 in bonds or notes.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number O-40-2019.
I'll second it.
At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing on this ordinance. If there are any members of the public wishing to be heard, please come before us, state your name, address.
Linda Carrington, 49 McCullough Avenue. And I respect Mrs. Casso-Deval for all the work she's done on this. And since 2008, I've been involved at Foots Pond, going in March, April, and May to look at the geese nests and walking into the pond. So I'm familiar with the topography, and over the space of 1 year, it can change drastically due to storms. So the sediment that was studied in 2008 is not the sediment or the debris which is there now in the passage of 12 years. So yes, by all means, look at that and decide whether or not you are affected by that. And also, water recharges every 400 feet. So there's a flow of water coming in, flow of water going out, and the water recharges. What is the erosion and deposition? Is it bringing in new sediment, which is bad, and removing the old? Sure. So it's an open question, but again, 12 years have passed since that study. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if there are no other members of the public wishing to be heard on this ordinance, I'd close the public hearing and ask for any comments or questions from council members.
I just want to thank the council and the mayor for their attention to this, because this has been, and I don't want to reiterate what I said 2 weeks ago, but thank you for your consideration. And I know the public thanks you, and I know that this has been a long time coming, so I appreciate it, and I really think of it as an opportunity to help and to see how we could work with other waterways and in a cost-effective manner. So, again, thank you.
All right, call the question, please.
On the adoption of O-40-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Sorry. Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
And Council President Foster.
Yes.
O-40-2019 is adopted. There are 7 resolutions on the agenda. Are there any that members of council would like to pull for separate consideration?
I'd like to pull resolution number R-151 and R-152.
Okay. I would ask for a motion to adopt resolutions R-146 through R-150-2019 en masse.
I'll make a motion to adopt those resolutions en masse.
I'll second it.
Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-151-2019, Corrective Action Plan for 28 Audit. Can I have a motion to adopt?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number R-151-2019.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
At this time, we're going to hear from Frank.
Frank Mason, CFO. I'd just like to address the 2018 audit. The auditor issued an opinion. It's an unmodified opinion. This means that the 2018 financial statements present fairly in all material respects. That's on page 2, paragraph 3. They cited 3 recommendations. Resolution 2019-151 is the corrective action plan. So I'll read through those recommendations. The general ledger and subsidiary ledgers should be reconciled on a monthly basis. I can tell you the auditors were provided a year-end reconciliation of subsidiary ledgers and the general ledger. I have met with the assistant treasurer and implemented procedures to provide those on a monthly basis. Second recommendation, the use of confirming orders should be eliminated. The corrective action plan, a memo was sent to all departments directing them to implement the auditor's recommendation and to ensure that the purchase orders are completed prior to the purchase being initiated. Additionally, quotes are to be kept on file and electronically attached in the Edmunds software. And the third one, we recommend that the town's management implement procedures to ensure payments for the state animal control licenses on a timely basis. The auditors cited there were payments that were, or months that were skipped and paid in subsequent months. The corrective action was that I met with the animal control officer, and we instructed her to make monthly payments. The issue was the 3-year licenses, the new 3-year licenses. That was one of the items that was missed. Morristown is strong. I just want to state that the 2018 surplus or fund balance is $13.7 million.
She is right.
Wow. And the last thing I'd like to state is the correction. The collection rate, the tax collection rate was 98.95%.
Yeah.
98.95?
Yes, that's correct.
Could you get that up a little bit, Frank?
Are there any questions on the resolutions?
Yes. Here says a review was performed on all prior year recommendations and corrective action was taken on all except the recommendations denoted with an asterisk, which means that the use of confirming orders was recommended last year.
Correct.
And why was not follow up on that?
I recommended the same plan last year. I did send out a memo last year. I am working with department heads directly on implementing that, so I'm following up on that.
Oh, I'm not satisfied with the answer because, because if it was recommended last year,
yes.
Now you are taking, or the administration is taking action now, but what happened the 12 months prior to this? Why it was not?
It was recommended. I do work with the departments, to try to get them to, make sure that they have the quotes. And the issue was, the main issue the auditors have is that purchases are done and then the invoice is received and the purchase order is done after the fact. An example might be in DPW when they have tires to recycle. They just go recycle the tires, and then when the invoice comes in, they do the purchase order. I have told them that this is not the process. They need to follow the proper procedures, and that's what I've done.
It is a way to implement a mechanism that ensures that every department follows on what is being told them to do. Probably maybe for.
So we actually addressed this again. This was addressed last year, admittedly. It was again addressed this year by myself as well as the CFO, and we're working with department heads to ensure it doesn't occur again. Certainly, we do our best to do everything perfectly. This one is something that we have room for improvement on, and it will not happen again.
But correct me if I'm wrong, what the audit also said is that there was no evidence of improper collection of bids, correct?
Correct.
Okay, there was bids. Now, mind you, they weren't being filed properly, but there was no evidence of incorrect bids.
Correct.
And that there was no impropriety. They do audit. When the auditors come in,
Yes.
they're tying the purchase orders with the invoices. They didn't find anything that went wrong.
Correct. The purchasers were proper. There were no improper purchases.
And I'm saying,
Correct.
but Pastor Silva's 100% right.
Yes.
But I do know the pains of an emergency order.
And also, it's an unmodified opinion, too, so.
Oh, it's an
that-
excellent audit.
Yeah, so that That's usually the big thing.
Yes, rather than that, everything is excellent.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Frank.
Thankful we don't work for you.
Yeah, I want to see those church books.
We want to see the books. See your book.
Go ahead.
So, you know, and real
It's
quick.
under audit, so I can't
So
share
we
it.
haven't,
Too strict on administration.
It's
I'm
like
too
Trump,
strict.
isn't Trump like not letting it, because he's under audit, you can't see his tax returns? We have an
a lot of
audit,
money on his airport.
we have an auditor every year for the Highlands Commission, and the audit comes back with nothing. And I've made this argument several times that you can't keep going to the same audit. You can't find something that you need to change. And sometimes auditors just, they go through the motions. We have an auditor that you guys, that we recommend and you guys can confirm, that goes through, and Frank, you can correct me if I'm wrong, with a fine tooth comb. And they're not going to come back with some, they're going to find something that makes it even better for the CFO. So although it has like a couple of things, it's an amazing audit. He's done an amazing job. And trust me, there are things that have to be changed. They are minor. I mean, minor in the aspect of an audit. And I challenge anybody here to prove me wrong on that audit. You're welcome, Frank.
And along those lines, Mayor, before you came, the 2 years that were, I was on the council in another administration was not the case. So,
correct.
So I do want to commend you and the administration on tidying up.
It's tight.
All right, call the question,
On the
please.
adoption of Resolution R-151-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
151-2019 is adopted. Resolution R-152-2019, Resolution Ray governing body certification of the annual audit. Can I have a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number R-152-2019.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Any comments or questions from, oh, sorry,
Is
open
there-
up the public hearing for.
No. Is there anything else for that? Okay. With no additional
Oh, so
comments?
we're not going to have anything else from, okay,
We could.
great. Call the question, please, if there are no other comments.
Okay, on the adoption of R-152-2019, Councilman Armington.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Yes.
Councilman Elms.
Yes.
Councilman Iannacone.
Yes.
Councilman Silva.
Yes.
Council President Foster.
Yes.
R-152-2019 is adopted.
All right, at this time, we have no unfinished or old business, no new business. So there are no further comments from council members. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Meeting adjourned.